What up, YouTube? This Loots with Aquatic Knowledge. Today, I'm gonna just give y'all a rundown how to make a Malawi aquarium for peacocks, haps, and bunas. This is my 125. Now I'm gonna just basically tell y'all the ideas behind this aquarium. So the Lake Malawi cichlids, obviously they from Lake Malawi. So the Lake Malawis is the haps, the ambunas, and the peacocks. So in Lake Malawi, it's basically all boulders and rocks and sand. It's basically like a freshwater ocean. So picture the ocean without corals, and that's basically what is the easiest way to describe Lake Malawi. Alright, so when you do your Lake Malawi tank, you want to replicate either the naturalistic aspect of how Malawi is made, or you want to incorporate the same aspects and elements into a more artificial approach. So basically what you need is cracks, crevices, caves, territories, movable substrate. Algae growth is good for Malawis. Just it ain't really supposed to be pretty. If you want the Malawis to thrive and exhibit like the most natural behavior that they can, you want it to be just a rocky shoal type environment. Alright, and so I'm gonna break it down to you guys. The Mbunas are the rock dwellers. That's what their name is, the Mbuna rock dwellers. So the Mbuna habitat is different than the peacock and the hap habitat, which also differ from each other. But the Mbuna habitat is inside the rocks. The peacocks and the haps, they spend more time in the open water. This is the key that you got to learn about the breeding the Malawis. So essentially the environment in the area is the exact same, but the places that they spend the most time differ. So because this is an Mbuna aquarium and I want these fish to breed and thrive as if it was a naturalistic setup, I just have a big pile of rocks. Okay, and what's happening in this aquarium is that the males who are becoming dominant in the hierarchy, like you see right here, he's picking out the best caves and cracks and crevices in these rocks, and he's claiming them as his home, right? So for the hierarchical purposes, and this is how you breed Malawis and get them to thrive, and this is their natural behavior. The male, he gets a cave. You see he got the best rock that looks mostly like him. He can hide there easy. He can defend it easily. He's basically secure to have a family because he got the hiding spot behind the rock. So basically he has to fight for this spot off all the other males, and now all these females that live in this environment, they can come to him for security, and in order for him to accept the females into his cave, he's gonna want them to breed with him. And this is how these fish breed. So basically it works the same with the haps and the peacocks. But the peacocks, you want to take a little bit different approach. The peacocks, the male, he still wants a cave and a hide, but the whole aquarium don't need to be rocky like this. Because if you do peacocks and you make the whole aquarium rocky like this, the females will have adequate hiding and living space, so they won't come to the males for security, so they won't breed. Okay, you'll just have like a hot male that's just going crazy and ballistic, and he's not really getting any, basically he's not getting the stimulation that he wants. So this male is going to be hyper aggressive, and you're not going to get the breeding response from the females because A, the male is hyper aggressive, and B, the female doesn't need anything from the male, so she doesn't have to submit to him. But that's the breeding aspect. So I'm gonna go back to the more basic. Basically, for the Malawi aquarium, you want a substrate that's either sand or small enough gravel that the male can move it and dig it up to create a breeding pit, a spawning pit. Or you want to have flat rock surface on the bottom that the male and the female can spawn on. Okay, you want to make sure that there's not too many crevices where you can't see or access that you can't clean out. You want to make sure the fish ain't getting stuck. You gotta want to make sure you got a lid so they're not jumping out. But basically, it's mostly about having flat spots or having the gravel or sand that they can dig out to create the breeding pits, and having the rocks, or you can use basically anything. Pots, I don't recommend pots, they don't work that well. PVC pipes, artificial decor. Artificial decor is probably honestly better than PVC and the terracotta pots. But rocks is the best way, because obviously that's what they get in the wild. So I just have pool sand in here. I'm thinking about adding gravel to the rockscape just to make it look a little bit more realistic, but I'm not in no rush to do that, because I feel like if I do it, then I'm gonna just rip it all up and I'm gonna hate it. But ideal substrate is either sand, pool filter sand, or crushed aragonite. Okay, because the crushed aragonite is basically the real substrate. Like, it's basically what is in the water in the Malawi type area that makes the water parameters the way they is. So basically aragonite, sand, crushed coral, rocks, caves, hides, and you really want to have a lot of space for these fish, because they swim all day. That's all they do is just swim. They don't want to really just stay in a little box. So just make it as big as you can. Keep your male to female ratio right if you don't got a lot of fish. Yeah, man. But that was basically the fundamentals.